Trump's 50 tariffs on India, what it means for India's economy, exports, and growth. The combined effect of two back-to-back 25% tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump has left India facing one of its most serious trade shocks in recent years. Together, the tariffs take the total U.S. import duty on Indian goods to 50%, a rate unmatched for any other key U.S. trading partner except Brazil. According to economists cited by Reuters, the impact could be significant. Sonal Badhan, economics specialist at Bank of Baroda, told ANI we had initially priced in an approximate 0.2 impact on GDP growth due to the earlier 2,526 tariffs imposed by the U.S. The additional 25 hike will come into effect after 21 days. The overall impact on GDP growth could range between 0.2 to 0.4, depending on the final trade agreement. In a separate note, Sakshi Gupta, principal economist at HDFC Bank, told Reuters while Trump's order gives another 21 days for a deal to break through, in case it does not, we will have to significantly lower FY26 GDP growth forecast to below 6%, baking in a 4,050 bps hit. Apart from GDP, the pressure on employment and foreign exchange inflows is also mounting. MSMEs, which form the backbone of India's labor-intensive export ecosystem, are expected to be the first to feel the pinch. On Wednesday, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on Indian imports. This comes on top of a previous 25% duty announced Indiana late July. Combined, the total levy on Indian goods entering the U.S. now stands at 50%. The new tariff round is explicitly linked to India's continued purchase of Russian oil. Trump's executive order accused India of directly or indirectly importing energy from Moscow, thereby undermining Western efforts to isolate Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. Trump had previously criticized India on social media, accusing it of profiting from Russian oil while disregarding the human toll in Ukraine. The second set of duties will come into force on August 27, while the earlier 25% tariff took effect on Thursday. Roughly 60% of India's 91 billion exports to the United States are now subject to the full 50% tariff. That's over 54 billion in outbound trade facing steep cost escalation. Core affected sectors include textiles and apparel worth over 10 billion, gems and jewelry over 12 billion, shrimp valued at 2.2 billion, leather goods, industrial chemicals, and machinery. According to UBS, approximately 8 billion worth of Indian exports are in the highest risk category. These include products where pricing plays a crucial role in international competitiveness, such as ready-made garments, home furnishings, and chemical components. Trade experts point out that Indian exporters already operate on razor-thin margins. The new tariff regime renders many shipments unviable, especially when competitor countries like Vietnam or Bangladesh are subject to duties in the range of just 19 to 20%. Non-exporters across sectors are sounding the alarm, with many already reporting cancelled or delayed orders. Colin Shah, MD of Kama Jewellery, told Mint that the effective 50% tariff places Indian exporters at a 30-35% disadvantage. He added that many export orders have already been put on hold as buyers reassess sourcing decisions in light of higher landed costs, and warned that MSME sectors may be unable to absorb the added costs. Yogesh Gupta, MD of Kokatha-based seafood exporter Megamoda, spoke to PTI, highlighting the squeeze on India's shrimp exports. He noted that Indian shrimp already attracts a 2.49% anti-dumping duty and a 5.77% countervailing duty. After this 25%, the duty will be 33.26% from August 7, he said, adding that India now faces far tougher competition from Ecuador, which faces only a 15% tariff. The Federation of Indian Export Organizations (FIEO) also flagged severe concerns. Its president, S.C. Ralhan, told ANI that nearly 55% of India's US-bound shipments are directly impacted. He warned that the 50% tariff puts Indian exporters at a 30-35% competitive disadvantage and said that many buyers are now putting export orders on hold due to the higher landed costs. Ajay Baga, a banking and markets expert, told ANI that the additional tariff effectively ends trade in some categories altogether. India is now hit with 50 tariffs, but frankly, once it crossed 25, it didn't matter. Whether it's 1,000 or 5,000, there's no trade possible anymore, he said. Nanan. While the impact on equities is somewhat muted due to the structure of India's benchmark indices, sentiment has been affected. The Nifty 50 index derives only around 9% of its revenue directly from the United States, mostly through IT services, which are not covered by the new duties. However, the broader impact has been seen in currency markets. The Indian rupee has weakened, and currency volatility has risen, affecting foreign portfolio flows in the short term, according to Societe Generale. India's trade balance with the US remains substantial, with bilateral trade at $131.8 billion in 202,425, including $86.5 billion in exports. The sectors now facing pressure contribute a large chunk of this total. Nanan. Some products have been excluded under Annex 2 of Executive Order 14,257. These include certain mineral substances, metallurgical ores, fuels, and pharmaceutical precursors. India's electronics exports, including semiconductors, are also exempt, as are large US tech firms like Apple that operate manufacturing hubs in India. Domestically, the Indian government is said to be considering support measures, including interest subsidies and export credit guarantees. While no formal relief package has been announced yet, official sources have indicated that options are being explored, especially if the 21-day negotiation window fails to yield results. Nanan. Despite the sharp rhetoric, India has not closed the door on talks. The 21-day delay before the latest round of tariffs takes effect is being seen as a sign that Trump may be open to a negotiated settlement. Trade experts also point out that the United States would stand to lose as well, particularly if India retaliates or redirects its exports to Europe or ASEAN economies. Swipe left for next video. And Donald Trump's 50% tariff salvo has dragged India into a costly trade confrontation, one that threatens to wipe out billions in export revenue, trigger layoffs across MSMEs, and shave significant points off GDP growth. What was once a strategic economic partnership now stands at a crossroads, with the cost of miscalculation higher than ever. Latest blogs.